I've kind of hit a creative wall. It seems to happen every year at this time. Maybe it's because it's winter, days are short, and they're pretty dreary. Maybe it's because I'm busy planning and shopping and seeing friends and family. Whatever the reason, whatever the time, I've got 10 suggestions for getting your mojo back. Number 10. Look in new places for inspiration. At this time of year, we're out shopping, or maybe we're in shopping online. Wherever you are, there's a ton of inspiration created by professional graphic designers who got paid a lot of money. And it's all free for the inspiration taking. Packaging, ads, fabrics, book covers, gift wrap, you name it. Number 9. Look in old places for inspiration. If you're like me, you've got Pinterest boards and photos you've saved because they caught your eye. And if you're like me, maybe you've never gone back and actually made the cards you thought you would make when you first saw those inspirations. Number 8. Give yourself permission to play. How about trying a new technique or a new tool? I've got some new products I purchased throughout the year that I haven't had a chance to play with yet. But I think the key here is really just to play, without a deadline or a project in mind. I think we're often so focused on the end result of a perfectly made card that's perfect for a particular occasion, for a particular person, that we forget that we need to learn and to try things to continue to grow as artists. And remember, any new skill takes practice, so keep trying, and again, you may surprise yourself. Number 7, try something old. Go back to something you know you're really good at, a favorite technique, or even remake a favorite card. This is a no-risk strategy. You'll either end up with another of the same card that you love, or you'll add a twist and you'll end up with something new. Number 6, copy someone you admire. If you're really stuck, copy them directly, but be sure to give them proper credit. I knew after working with Tiffany earlier this year, I just had to get the exact same colors of Distress Oxide inks and give her background technique a try. And if you don't want to copy directly, you can try using my LIMES acronym. It stands for List, Include, Modify, Exclude, and Spin, and it will help you take any inspiration you've got and make it your own. I've got a whole playlist to show you how it works, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. Now, just before we go on, I want to talk about 3 things you should really try not to do if you're struggling to be creative. First, don't worry. This slump will end. The way you get there may be different than the way I get there, and that's okay. One day soon, something will spark your imagination, and you'll be back on your creative journey. Next, don't compare. It's so easy to feel overwhelmed by all the amazing talent in our community. There are so many great artists creating so much good stuff. Finally, try not to shop. Creativity is not always about having all the latest and greatest. In fact, creativity often comes from not having exactly what we think we need and looking around for an alternative. Let's get back to the list. Number 5, try combining techniques to see if they work together. Last week, I used alcohol inks with stencils for some gorgeous backgrounds, and later in that week, I learned about something called the alcohol press technique. A light bulb went off in my head, and I tried to combine those 2 techniques. This was completely an experiment, and I figured I would still get the gorgeous stencil background regardless of whether the alcohol pressing would work with a stencil in between. Secretly, I was hoping that I would get 2 snowflake panels, but I didn't. The press panel is still beautiful and a great way to at least get some of the alcohol ink off the stencil. Number 4, stay in touch with your crafty friends. They know what you're going through, and hey, maybe something they're working on will spark something for you. We've all been in slumps, and as a community, we love to encourage each other. And speaking of encouragement, if you can't create yourself, now's a great time to go around and leave comments for others on their work. This is a wonderful way to pay it back into our community, and not only will you feel good about doing something nice and building relationships, you'll also be exposed to lots of inspiration. Number 3, spend some time in your craft area. Wherever it is, spend time organizing what you have, maintaining things like ink pads and markers, cutting card bases and panels, looking through your inventory of supplies and tools. Maybe it's time for a destash. All the time you spend here may spark your creativity, but even if it doesn't, you'll be ready when the time comes and the creative fires start burning again. Number 2, we talked about being kind to others, but don't forget to be kind to yourself. Like every aspect of our lives, creativity is a journey with high and low points. If there's one thing we know, it's that we all go through different seasons with different demands and needs, and knowing that and not pushing yourself too hard is really important. Number 1, take a break. Taking a little vacation from our daily routines helps our brains to rest and recharge. And with that in mind, I'm going to be taking a break from making videos until the new year. I want to wish you all much happiness, however you celebrate it this time of year, and also all the very best for a happy and healthy 2022. Thanks so much for watching. See you in January.